Thank you for watching this brief demo on how to use the zooming feature in IBM Clarity. So what I'm going to do is I've got a report open here that's a simple validation report that looks at two different cubes to find out if there's any variances between the two with the same intersections. And I've selected the features work pane for my report, and I'm going to add in, I've already added in the zoom feature here. It's available in the features tab. If you click on the zoom feature here, it'll appear on the features work pane on the left. It'll also give you a selection of what map you want to have it apply to. This is really, what is it going to zoom into from a data perspective. So if you have a particular query, you'll just want to list that query. In our case, we're looking at our accounts and time along the rows and our years along the columns with a variety of page options selected on the top left. So I'm just going to enable zooming on everything. I'm fine with that. This is my rows and columns are both dynamic. So if you have rows or columns where they're static and that you can't have additional rows there, you might want to limit that to, you might not want to enable the zooming on that piece. But as long as it's dynamic, then it should be fine to enable zooming on a row or column piece. So here I've got really all the items selected. So I'll be able to zoom in on my accounts, along my time dimension, along the rows, or I'll be able to zoom in on the year, along my columns. So now if I flip over to, before I flip into Clarity and show you how it works, I'm going to expand out the rows and columns. So I'm going to show rows and columns. So one thing I want to note here is how the layout of my rows and columns. For zooming to work, you have to use the true dimension items. So it's very common to maybe retrieve the column or row headers in a hidden area and then just use, say, an equals formula to reference it. You cannot do that with zooming. It has to be the true dimension keys, true dimension values from Clarity coming in have to be what the user can click on. So what that really means is if I look at my column range meta, so you'll see these are the column ranges where my metadata for my rows will show up. So I'll show, first is going to show me the account key, then the account caption, the level for the level of the account dimension, then the time key, and then the time caption and the time level. So that's the depth of that element in the time dimension. And then we also have the same thing along our column, so we'll show the level there. Now to make sure that shows up, if I look at my row group, row members, you need to make sure that you can use either names or captions. It's very common to not have names selected and just use captions, but you will need to select this property that says include properties, and with that it'll end up showing the number there. So now if I take a look at Clarity, I'm going to open up my report, select my page options. So here the reports come up. Now I want to zoom in. I'm looking at net income. Net income is made up of my income before taxes and my income taxes. I've got quarter one and quarter two all being shown here. I see there's a variance of my net income number. By looking at the children of that, I see, okay, well, it's related to this income before taxes, so I'm going to double click on that. So now this is done a zoom in on this individual dimension. So I'm just looking at quarter one for all of these accounts. So it only zoomed in on account, it did not zoom in on time, which is fine. But now I see, if I look at income for operations, I still see a variance there. Now I want to zoom in on the quarter. So I'm going to double click on the quarter. Now I've zoomed in on the quarter, and you still see my details around the variance here. Now you see this message here, zooming is not allowed on a row or column member. You'll see this message if you do not have enough space in your column range or row range to show the properties, or the properties aren't selected for that. That's a very common error to see. So the fix for that is just to go into Studio, make sure you have include properties selected for that row or column range, and you won't see that message. Open this has been helpful. Thank you.